There we go.
Hello.
That's us live. So
This makes me so
today
happy.
on Special Gear, the subject is credits
How not?
and how to make it rain.
Oh god, I'm gonna crash again.
Basically, if we had started recording a few minutes ago, you'd have heard Josh lose his mini space cow.
I was actually quite upset, and still am quite upset, that I lost 100 Imperial slaves. I will never learn. I need heat. What do you call them?
Heat
I forgot
sinks.
what they're called. That's the one. I should have got them. I should have just packed my entire 100 cargo bays with them.
Just put a shitload of drywall in it.
That was my next step. I was thinking, how about instead of actual useful materials like alloys and stuff, how about drywall everywhere? I'm telling you,
So
the white man of space.
So basically, yeah, we'll be doing our best to give you ideas on how to make credits, and unlike my first 200, well, maybe 100 hours of game time, not just waste it all round not knowing what you're even doing. So, I'm pretty sure the first thing I did to make money was low what's it called? Low intensity combat zones or nav beacons. The shitty sidewinder. If you just started, the sidewinder's alright. Sorry.
You're so abusive.
But yeah, basic combat is probably the way to go initially. As long as you actually have some support from the security ships, just let them take the fire. You wait until the shields drop. Make sure that you actually have the kill warrant scanner, because what, you get 2,000 when you start, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's roughly right that.
Just
You can make some.
work your way up doing that. Few shots. You can make perhaps maybe 30,000 per kill, 40,000, which gives you a good way to start the game. You can also go with basic mission running low to begin with. I'd personally go with that because it actually gives you some idea of how to actually get the hang of stuff, like your jumps, making sure that your fuel is adequate amount. Getting to know your kind of surrounding systems, what they actually have in them, station wise, resource wise, outfitting, shipyard, so on. And then kind of making up your mind of if you prefer combat or if you're more happy trading. Those are your two kind of ways to make money, personally. You can do mining. There's some people out there who would probably give you a really good mining guide, though I'm
I have
seriously we're not the people to ask about mining, because personally I found it the most depressing part of the game.
See, I've got a guide in it that explains quite a bit, but it is quite like hard to get a proper good roll going for mining.
And in the
Yeah,
beginning,
it's a weird ass like cyborg screeching. Is it my ship? It's like it makes some really weird ass like screechy cyborg bleeping Borg ass computer shit going on.
Borg gas.
It is Borgs, man. Some Borg booty. Seriously, it feels like a xenomorph's gonna pop out and actually annihilate me. What the hell is this?
The,
No, it's actually
the,
quite
the main
creepy.
thing about really starting out in the game is basically choosing what you actually want to become, because unlike a lot of games, I mean,
Boy.
if you're more into linear games, this really is completely different. You can do the tutorial. I personally never did it, which kind of makes sense as to why it took me maybe an hour before I realised how to request docking permission to get back into the station. Or also remembering to actually request docking permission so you don't actually get shot when you decide to fly in, which really does help.
Just go mano. Just go macho and drive in there. Show him his boss.
Personally,
No,
I
no
did
regrets.
initially a few missions just to kind of get a bit of money for some basic combat gear. Kill warrant scanner, an extra beam laser, because when you're not doing that much damage, you might as well just not waste ammo. And started making tracks to the Cobra Free. Cobra Free is kind of like your jack of all
Basic
trade
fighter.
ships. It's not even a fighter, really. I mean, it can do very, very minor mission running. It's an alright combat ship, it's got a good jump range. I mean, the one thing I had against the Viper was when I used to do a lot of combat in it, I kept jumping, and I ended up in a bit of space when I bought the Viper that the jump range was inadequate to actually make my way even back to where I began. Which was probably why, because I decided I wanted to join the Empire, because they have the shinier ships. Though when I first heard about the free factions, I thought Alliance would be good. Though, if you're under that impression, don't. Alliance really does offer you nothing. You can't even... well, you can only become friendly with them. They're useless.
Jenny, feds are the master race. Don't listen to them. It's all lies.
This is why... Oh, by the way, my credits seem low right now. I've got 90 million. It's just literally due to the fact I spent every single penny I had on the ship. Any die-hard enthusiast of the games, by the way, look away now, because I'm basically going to do a minor exploit, I suppose people refer to it as. So what you're seeing is I was in open, I quickly go into solo play. Another quick trick for traders: if you want to actually avoid interdiction, avoid solo play, because it tries to make up for the fact that no other real players are there, so they'll keep trying to interdict you.
True story.
Even private play, since it kind of has a bit more online, actually seems to give less people trying to interdict you. Now you're probably wondering why I'm boasting about trading and combat while I'm just doing random missions. These are mildly good for it, but simply I've been doing the long grind for getting up Empire. 16%.
Oh shit.
And Josh is still convinced that the Federation is the way to go.
Feds are the boy. Don't even start. Don't get angry at my baby Zach.
Explain.
Because look, have you seen how handsome that guy is? He is beautiful. Trust me, I'd fuck him.
What reason do you genuinely have for Federation
Just,
love?
I don't know. Because Federation love, Federation is life.
Why?
Why not?
The ships
Have you seen
are
them?
the ships are quite basic. Yes, you can visit Earth when the expansion comes out, where you can actually go to it.
Is that like season 3?
From what
Or
I
is that
believe,
4?
yes. Not
See,
sure.
I wouldn't mind walking around your own ship. It'd be pretty cool. Except with Sidewinder, because you'd literally be like walking out a closet. You'd be like, wait.
The Sidewinder, I'm pretty sure if you open the rear door of it, you just literally fly out into space. You jettison yourself.
Who doesn't want to jettison themselves every now and then? I mean, really.
I'm just going for a walk. Where?
Have you never jettisoned yourself IRL? I mean, like, really. Just gonna get some fresh air, honey. Okay. I'm telling you.
Can't say I have actually. I've got to try it.
You should.
Basically,
recommend
before, and this is like where I kind of shoot my argument about Imperial being the best. You have the ship called the Clipper. Now, the Clipper is like your kind of mid-tier ship. It requires a large landing pad. It is quite fast, though when you actually need it to do stuff, apart from... See, I'm wanting to kind of like back it up in combat, but it's not even a really good combat ship, really. You can A-spec it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's alright, it's doable. And you have to remember it's only a 30 million credit ship. Though, is it worth it when you could have a money-making ship which is less cost? No. Only real reason, unless you really do want the permits and kind of just want to be a completionist, is to go with a faction. Well, sorry, what's the term, Josh? What's the term be? If you want to go with a power, whether it be an empire or federation, you kind of go with what ship you actually want.
You get stuck into their sort of style of ships further into.
Imperial ships look extremely
Nicest.
well done. Like everything's modern. Federation kind of just have this more rustic kind of industrial feel to them. Personally, I prefer Empire as well for money making. Honestly, Federation pilots probably make the same amount as me, but in Imperial space you can sell legally Imperial slaves. Not normal slaves, they have to be Imperial. Because the Empire is more like your kind of Roman civilization. The Federation is kind of like...
Democracy, it's basically like the modern
not,
United States.
It's basically
it's very
capitalism.
democratic.
Just complete
basically.
capitalism. Everything is about money.
Loads of money.
And then you have the Alliance, who don't really exist.
They're just weird. I don't even know what they do. You just kind of go, we hate everyone.
The Alliance is made up of a lot of different alien races. They just kind
Aliens?
of, because the Alliance kind of spread themselves out very quickly, so they had to kind of recruit a lot of different races to actually help them protect what they had diplomatically borrowed. Sorry, not conquered.
No word of a lie, there's an actual private security orca driving around. That doesn't actually make... What?
Yeah. So we've discussed the initial part of how to make money in the beginning, whether it be missions, basic combat. That's it really. Now, once you get to maybe about 100,000, you can start making your big choice. Do you want to carry on with combat? Do you want to do a bit of trading? Or so on. Because at about 100,000, you have the choice whether it being a Viper for combat, basic ship, fast, nimble. You can't really go far due to its inability to have a true FSD jump range. Or you have a hauler. Now, hauler has minor space. Both ships, bear in mind, to get the most out of them, you're really going to have to upgrade.
Sacrifice a few modules and stuff sometimes if you really want a lot.
Now, trading, you're going to be limited due to your space, and combat in the Viper, you're quite limited on what systems, because you're basically looking for a high intensity resource extraction site. Now, high intensity kind of sounds a bit extreme. Just make sure you don't have any cargo on you. Follow around the security vessels, wait for them to engage, wait for the shields to drop, start shooting the target. As long as you got a kill warrant scanner, and as long as you actually don't shoot until it comes up that the target's wanted, you're fine. I mean, initially I did that until I had enough for a Ferdinand, which took a lot of time. Personally, I've seen traders, my envy and the reason I started trading was simply because being purely combat with a Cobra free until Ferdinand I was just simply shooting at ships, kind of getting scraps, while people who were doing trading seemed to be getting a lot more money. And I'm pretty sure the most I got was maybe 3-4 million an hour. Don't get me wrong, people make less than that. It's all about, you know, how much your time you can put into the game, so on and so forth, and you know, what you actually enjoy from it. But trading seems to always be the biggest thing for money. You've got the hauler. You could use a Cobra Mark III, arguably. A lot of people do smuggling missions with it, which is long distance, so focusing purely on a frameshift drive, going out off the bubble and actually finding stations that will give you missions. That's, I believe, has been nerfed quite a bit. So I would personally stick with finding routes on Elite Dangerous Trading Tool, which we'll link in the description of the video. This gives an indication of how much return you're actually going to get, which is extremely handy due to the fact, obviously, when you initially get in, you've not got much money, you don't really want to waste it. Which I did for a little bit, since I didn't really look into the tool and just kept guessing.
There's another thing you can download called ED Market Connector, which basically, if you update it, it updates all the databases for markets at the current station, and it's like really useful for helping other people. It just updates like databases, so obviously if you've bought like 1,000 or like 100 Imperial slaves, it'll update it that that's been taken off the market. Then it'll update the database and people know what's in demand, what's not, and stuff. It's good to have. It's good to update whenever you take something or buy something from a station.
As you will notice as well, sometimes when you get to a station, depending on what site you use and what method you're actually using to monitor it, you will actually find sometimes that, oh, where's all the resources that I'm supposed to buy gone? It's literally because, bear in mind that you're kind of doing it against everyone else who's after money as well. So if you're not fast, then you're going to lose out. You do also have rare or exotic trading, which I've never really understood the point of, because it's quite limiting, because rather than actually looking for what's nearby and what's quick, you're looking for long routes that fair enough, can still make money, but you're you're taking away valuable time, and also perhaps jumping quite a long distance to actually get to where you need to be to even start it off.
Yeah, trading's obviously quite frustrating at the start, because you won't make a lot, but the better ships you get, the more cargo space you get, the more money you make. And as my man said, the more time you put into it, the more money you will eventually make over time. It's just one of these things. That's how you get all the good ships.
Trading, you need money to make money. It's the same with basically anything in Elite Dangerous. Everything you do can earn you money as long as you know what you're doing. And then you end up in a big anaconda like me.
T6s are the master race, don't forget.
See, I kind of went into mining after I got my anaconda. I believe it was a python, because I kept getting this jealousy towards traders, and kind of fitted out a Type 9, so I spent most of my money on it, which is known as a space cow. And I got to admit, within about a few hours of kind of messing around, working the difference with it, I was maybe perhaps 2 or 3 jumps, which you know you can do in about 10 minutes. You could make maybe 1 to 2 million each time. So and then I kind of had this epiphany. So although the Type 9 has more space, it made more sense to me to use a Anaconda, because the Anaconda does have the space, yes, a little less in it, but it's also got a far better jump range. So in the time it was taking me to actually make those jumps, the Anaconda, I was actually cutting out a lot of time wasting. I was able to make more money quickly. I also found more enjoyment because the Space Cow is not a fun ship to fly. I don't care how many people endorse the ship, how many people praise the ship.
It is slow, clunky.
It's what makes traders become quite ticked off. You'll also see quite a lot of them have no shield. On this build, I've finally put a shield back on because at the moment, like I say, I'm not a pure trader. I'm simply just working towards the cutter. Which, if you are interested in making a lot of money trading, the cutter is actually the way to go. It's a long grind, but if you got about 60 million to waste, very much worth it. Let's see. I definitely need to upgrade the shields and that. Shields are down, but I can still jump. Anaconda can take the damage. Type 9.
Also,
No.
if you're doing a jump, the shields recharge twice as fast.
Mm.
Thanks to the patch notes.
And that's another reason why the Anaconda is better than the Type 9. If you think about how many times you have to jump, so if you increasing how many jumps you have to, even by 2 jumps, that's more time for other people to actually try and attack you. Less jumps, the quicker you actually get the money, and also the less chance of being interdicted, which wastes time. Traders
Especially
don't
things like
tend to put guns on their ships, which is why I'm actually quite excited about the new update with the small fighter, which should actually give me a way to actually defend myself. Fair enough, it'll still take up a little bit of space, but it shouldn't affect my jump range as much.
this game's getting good, making loads of money.
That's another good thing about Elite Dangerous. Unlike Eve and so on, which has been around for years, and don't get me wrong, Eve's a great game if it's what you're into. With Eve, you kind of come into this community surrounded by giants. Elite Dangerous kind of gives you that kind of ground to actually make something of yourself as the game grows alongside you. So I mean, I'm pretty sure I was already an Anaconda. Yeah, it was an Anaconda pilot while the new ships came out. So rather than me feeling like I had achieved it all, these bigger ships actually worked for arrived. Same with Horizons. At that point, I mean, you've jumped halfway around the galaxy. You've seen quite a lot of stations, and all of a sudden, even when you're just doing mission running, you're actually being asked to go to a planet, which is quite exciting the first time. Though hopefully you're unlike me and you actually understand how the gravity works, because yeah, hence the standard docking computer.
You got a docking computer, man.
It makes trading easier.
Just trust me, I'm telling you, go get a joystick.
I've got a flight stick.
No regrets.
And I've got my Thrustmaster. What's it called?
Is it?
No, Saytech.
16.
Saytech.
Yeah.
Also, I can't. It's the Pro something.
I need to get a label gun and actually label the buttons, because it's just I always forget where they are when I map them.
What, you got a flight stick?
Yeah, I've had it for quite a while actually. It's just that I've need to get the buttons mapped properly. If there's a label gun or something.
Good news, Josh. You can help me set up mine.
It's easy. I mean, it's initially you can use the generic profile, or you can download software from Cytech. Should have stuff for it. But I mean, you're better just go to the generic profile, get a label gun, map the buttons, the important ones like landing. The important ones, he says. There's about 500 important buttons for this game, but never mind.
Well, see, here's a great example of how it can make you money. 14 units of line, which will give me 415,000 upon completion. Now, that is 102 light years away. Will I do it? Yeah, why not? Today's the day.
I don't
Also,
understand these.
ooh, 111 light years away. I have a mission that will give 1.3 million. Closer to home, I have a mission for 134, only 13 light years away. Take that as well. 64,000 64 light years away, 917,000.
Also, pro tip: don't boost out of stations or
Do
into
it.
stations.
If anyone tells you not
I do
to
it all the
it,
time.
ignore them.
I do it all the time because I'm MLG when it comes to boosting out of stations. Listen, kid, I was doing this game before you were even born.
Boosting out of state. What the? Alright.
I'm telling you.
Sometimes when you
Boosted-
log in and log out of the game, it will appear very, very strange, and you will see systems. The system. Jeez, my mouth has just stopped working.
You're right there.
The spaceport you are currently docked in may actually disappear from you. This is just because when you're docked, you haven't actually turned the engines off, and it's actually carbon monoxide poisoning. Don't worry about this.
You're hallucinating everything.
The game tries to be as real as it can. See, this is the kind of game you need to play. Agricultural supply run. 96 fish. They'll give you 1.7 million for it.
Is it wolf fish?
It is indeed.
Wolf.
36
Wolffish.
fish for 901,000. So, and see, I'm not doing any of these long-range smuggling missions. I'm making really good profit from just something I absolutely have learned to hate. And don't get me wrong, it is quite entertaining. It's just when you do the long grind, it will kill you, and you will learn to love everything. Well, learn to hate everything you love, and get a job in IT, and deal with people. Scary thought.
Oh god.
That got too real.
Found a planet that looks like it's made of cheese. It literally looks like Swiss cheese. Just a sphere of Swiss cheese.
Buy it.
I will. I wish you could buy planets. Be great. I'd be like, how about we have some canyon races? In some eagles. Eagle canyon racing is the greatest, I'll tell you that right now. It's a real thing. You think I'm joking?
It must be nice being one of the peasantry in this game.
Nah, Eagle Canyon race. Get in it.
I'm pretty sure the first time I actually met other players in this game, I kind of like freaked out. I didn't know they were actually real people. Because when you do bounty hunting in a system that nobody really goes to, you kind of really do disassociate yourself with the human race.
It's quite spooky.
And I had three guys kind of like asking me to go to a wedding. I thought this is cool. Finally being a sociable person. And I learned that they're actually just basically stopping me from making as much money.
It's just like, you ain't going anywhere. Squeal for me.
So, being a very overproud Cobra pilot, surrounded by 3 people with pythons, I did the only thing I could do. Jumped, and I never looked back.
Some dangerous people out there.
My advice, as soon as you can, get down to Cubeo, join the Empire.
Nah.
We will love you, we will look after you. You'll
He's
probably
lying.
bump into me a lot. I'll give you what I can. I mean, if they ever let me give out money, I'll make it rain for you, I promise.
As long as you dance for him. Oh my god, I don't know why I bought a T6. Makes me cry.
And in our next video, by the way, we will probably be covering mild disputes
Trauma.
about the perks of Empire and Federation. So until next
Really,
time,
Federation is.
go for it, Josh.
I'm telling you. Fed Master Race. Don't even get a lot of my grills.